What's up, guys? This is photographer Romeo Duncombe-Clarke here, and I am going to answer a few questions that I've gotten from a few people, and I'm going to try my best to be as clear as possible with my answers. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Thank you. For me to get my subjects relaxed, I talk a lot. I talk a lot. I talk to the point where sometimes I surprise myself at the amount of things that come out of my mouth. But that's okay, because if I'm talking, my subject, I might, by me speaking, I'm getting them out of their mindset. I'm getting them out of the anxiety. I'm getting them out of this, whatever it is that's ailing them. I'm giving them a moment to forget about what they're dealing with, and they're paying attention to me. So it's less on posing and more on getting my subject to be as relaxed as possible in front of the camera and whatnot. And that's how I go about getting the very best out of my subjects. It's just me constantly talking and constantly making a fool of myself sometimes, because I definitely know I do. But that's okay, because as long as I'm able to get the shot that I'm working for, then that's perfectly fine with me. So yeah, for me, getting my subject to relax, getting my subject to be truly within the moment and truly confident within themselves is really how I go about obtaining my final product. I would say photography, the people who I look up to and who I get great inspiration from. Number one, I would say Zach Aries, hands down. I would have to say that I've learned way more from watching Zach and reading Zach's books than I have in all of my 2 years in digital photography school. I would have to also give compliments to German retoucher and photographer Calvin Hollywood, because of Calvin Hollywood, he brought retouching into the realm of possibilities for me, and I have to give mad great deal of respect for that. I love Joe Grimes' work, even though I don't do much of it, but I love his approach to lighting. Art Saber, Mark Zeliger. I love Dave LaChapelle. That's my boy. That's my man. I love that dude. Who's there? Who else is there? There's so many, man. It's just right now I'm drawing a blank. But I like Chris Knight stuff. Who else is there? Man, there's so many people out there. There's so many talented photographers out there that, like, they're slipping my mind. But I'm constantly on the lookout for what other people are doing. So I would say at the end of the day, I'm inspired by creatives in general. If you're doing something, I don't want to necessarily do what you're doing, but I'm interested in your process. And I think just for the fact that I'm interested in your process, it affords me an opportunity to learn something new. So I hope that answered the question as far as what do I want my photography to say about me. I want my photography to say that bold, consistent, classic, direct, and no frills. No frills meaning it doesn't have to be pretty, and it doesn't have to appeal to everybody. And the way I'll go about doing that or achieving that is being honest with myself when my subject is in the front of me, and just being genuinely honest with myself. If I know that I have something planned, and once my subject is in on set, and I'm able just to make if I need to make a change, make that change on the fly, and don't hold it, don't be personal with it. It's what's best to maximize the look of the subject and the feel of the situation. So being true to myself and allowing myself to be directed on set by myself, as to what feels right. And I think that that's how my photography will continue to have the elements that I spoke of, and how they end up feeling the way they do, or coming off visually the way they are. What was my career path before I picked up a camera? Well, I came to the States from the Bahamas, and I came here to go to school. And I came here to go to school for business. And during the time while I was in school, I was constantly told that when I get out of school and I work for somebody, that I have to work for somebody, I have to work for somebody, I have to work for somebody. And to me, I'm like, well, if I have to work for somebody, why am I in school? Like, really, why am I in school if I'm in here wanting to work for myself? I know some things you would definitely need to have experience before you get into the marketplace. But I'm here to get a business degree, and I want you to teach me how to start a business. I want you to teach me how to start a business. Teach me, or give me an introduction as to what are the pitfalls and the things to look out for and the things to be cognizant of, whatever. So, after getting my bachelor's degree, and like I say, being there for a while and just hearing the constant when you get in, when you go work for people, I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not into this. I'm done with it. So I took my bachelor's, and I was like, okay, you know what? Instead of me going off to get a master's degree or whatever the case may be, I was like, I'm gonna do photography. Why I'm gonna do photography? Because I'm my own boss. Not only am I my own boss, I'm gonna fail on my own terms and conditions. So that was how I got into photography, just because I didn't like the idea that I was being trained to be a worker and not being trained to be a leader. I didn't like that. I didn't like that concept that the school system was feeding me. So that's what it is. So I've been doing digital photography in conjunction with doing acting and a whole myriad of other things, but photography has always been there since that day, and I have not one day regretted my decision. I have not regretted my decision. I started off pursuing a business degree, and because of how I was being told I was supposed to think about school and when it's done and whatever, I just wasn't having it. So I just opted to get a degree and to pick up a camera, and it's been really good. What do I focus on? I think I try to balance out the business of photography. Early on, I chased gear, I chased software. I think that's, for most of us coming into the business, we assume that these are the things that are going to make us better photographers. But after realizing that this is a very costly business, so I would have to make sure that before I make a purchase, I've exhausted everything that I have around me. Like right now, I'm shooting with a Nikon D750, and I just got that, say, less than a year ago, you know. But before that, I've always shot on entry-level cameras. My first camera was a Nikon D70. I love that camera. Actually, I still have that camera to this day. But that was my first camera, and I shot with that for quite a number of years before I purchased a D90, and I shot with that for a number of years, and I still have that. And then I forgot the other camera I had before I got this 750, but it was, bodies were for years between themselves. I purchased this 80 to 200 when I bought my like D70. So I've had this lens that's on this camera right now as long as I've been shooting, and I just recently officially purchased a Nikon D24 to 70 2.8, and because I've been wanting it for so long, but there was nothing to justify it. So I continued shooting with my kit lens. I shot with my kit lens for a lot of projects, and they turned out really well. You know, the quality was there, you know, so I didn't fear, there was no need to chase after gear if I knew how to use. If there's no reason to chase after gear if you know how to use the gear. You know, as long as you know how to obtain the results, you know, I say just use what you have. Software, Photoshop, Lightroom, and Camera Raw. That's it. But for the most part, I only use Camera Raw to process my images, and Photoshop to finalize the final product. Yeah, that basically is really about it. Simple, basic input output flow. Yeah, that's it. That's what I do. I don't spend a lot of money on gear. Some things I make myself, as you can see in the back here. I got a PVC scrim gym that I use when I'm outside in the back in the back of the yard shooting, just to cut down my light. How do I get paid? Wow, this is very interesting. Well, the way I get paid is I do a lot of headshots for actors and models. So predominantly, most of my cash comes that way. It becomes pretty monotonous after a while, where people come in, especially in the market that I'm in, being that I'm in Florida. You know, there's this particular look that everybody wants, and I do not like the particular look. I think that we're all individuals, and I think that because you're an individual, you should have an individual photograph that really truly represents you, your style, you know, and your mindset. And so it's sort of hard sometimes to sell people on a new approach to photography or a new approach to their headshots. But I definitely do a lot of acting headshots, modeling headshots, and I do a lot of business headshots, you know. But my main focus and my desire is to truly be more of an editorial photographer, and to, you know, work campaigns. I think my goal is like any other photographers. You want to maximize your skill set to constantly get to the next level, get to the next level, get to the next level. So I'm looking more at editorial, and once I've submerged myself in that market, then I'll definitely be heading on to commercial and whatnot. But for the most part, headshots and stuff like that are the way I go about paying my bills, you know, so that I'm able to do the personal projects that I have, you know. So, yep, headshots, that's me. What motivates me? What motivates me is the fact that I don't like to lose. I don't like to lose. I don't like to lose. I like to win. And as many times as I've failed as a photographer, I've not one time ever considered getting rid of my gear and going to get a regular job. That's not in me. Maybe I'm just stubborn that way, but I hate to fail. I hate to lose. I take failure as an opportunity to adjust and get back to the drawing board, you know, because I would do this even if I wasn't getting paid to do it, and that is the God's honest truth. I would photograph even if I'm not getting paid, but I'm about getting paid. So don't come to me with that bullshit. Don't come to me with that bullshit. Yeah, but yeah, I'm stubborn. So the fact that I'm stubborn and I'm headstrong, I pursue it. I pursue it with everything that I have within me. You know, because I think it's a beautiful medium. I think that it can be very rewarding if it's done right. If it's done right, it can be very rewarding. And so the motivation is to win. I want to win. I'm not about losing, you know, with myself. I'm competing with myself, so that's why I do what I do. I'm competing with me. I'm here to make my world better, so when my kids have a reflection of me, is tenacity. It's the drive to be a better person on my own merits, through my own hands, you know, and not settling for what life is say, hey, this is all you get. And I'm not interested in what life says all I get. I'm about, if you knock me down, I'm gonna get up. And photography has knocked me down many a times, and I've gotten back up, and I've came back even stronger and stronger, you know. So what motivates me is winning. What motivates me is knowing that my tenacity and my drive will be contagious to the people around me, and they get to see that, and I'll get an understanding of what it really takes to desire something that's bigger than you. You know what I mean? And it's what it is. Photography is bigger than me, but I'm trying to win, and I may never win, but that's okay, because as long as I get in there and I work my ass off, I'll be quite fine with that, you know, quite fine with that. Anyway, guys, this is your man Romeo Duncombe-Clarke coming to you from Dunphotostudios, and just want to thank you guys for watching my video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Check out my my website.